within a few minutes, Vince is stripped down to his boxers. He's got a pair of boxers on, white boxers. He's got his socks on, his black shoes, no shirt, and he's got his tie on.
There was a night at a strip club. You've told this before, but some might not have heard it, where Vince got drunk along with everybody else. Please tell us the story in detail.
It's one of my favorite stories because it was just such a special night. I wrestled, if anyone cares to remember those days, it was when I wrestled, there was one night in Texas, I wrestled Skinner, and I was Intercontinental Champion. Anyway, that Owen was flying in. Owen had his return. They had hired Owen back, like when he'd been the Blue Blazer and jobbed out there and quit and left, and then they finally said, we want to give Owen another tryout and bring him back in. I think they're going to tag him up with Jim McCall, the new foundation. I was Intercontinental Champion. I was doing pretty good. And so Owen flew in, and he flew in the day before. And I can remember picking Owen up, and he was pretty. I remember him telling me how excited he was, and told me how big I was in Europe with being the Intercontinental Champion, because you're huge in Germany and all this stuff. I guess, being away from it, like you don't know how big you are in Europe, but Owen being over in Europe, he was working in Europe, and he was really like hoping that maybe he'd get a break now because he could see that things were changing for me. So he was pretty optimistic and in a good mood, and we came in. And let's see, I'm trying to remember what I can tell about this story. So we get to the building, and Vince McMahon calls everyone for a big boardroom meeting with all the wrestlers. Big sit down. We got everyone in the catering room. There's maybe 100 different wrestlers in there, and he explains that because of his court case and all that, that there's going to be full-on drug testing, like the Olympic athletes, that they're going to test us for steroids, any kind of drugs, anything and everything. You're going to be tested, and if you fail your drug tests, you get 3 strikes. 3 strikes and you're fired. Period. It doesn't matter who you are or what your position is. 3 strikes, you're out. And I remember a lot of guys were grumbling, especially the guys that were on steroids. Because I think steroids, to be honest, were very addictive. Guys were addicted to steroids because they kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they loved all that. They loved being like monsters. Like they could never imagine how muscular and big some of these guys could get. But he dropped that bomb on everybody, and everybody was moaning and everyone said, you got 2 weeks from now, whatever the date was, he goes, they start drug testing, and just so you know, everyone is on the same level and there's no turning back, and we have to do this as a company kind of thing. It's a company decision, there's no way around it. So I wrestled Skinner, I think, that night, and after the show, everybody was meeting at a strip bar, and I remember taking Owen with me. We're driving out to the airport, and I'd been in a town called El Paso the night before. This was in San Antonio, Texas, and when I was in El Paso, I met some guys. I used to always call them Cheech and Chong. They were just 2 guys I knew, but they gave me this big bag it was like a Ziploc baggie filled with marijuana. I was like, I almost could have used it as a pillow, it was so big. And so I had it with me, and I had to go, after San Antonio, we were going to cross the border, and I had to go across the border and wrestle in Montreal or something. So I knew I had to get rid of it, and I couldn't carry it with me. So I had this absurd amount of THC in the bag, and I didn't know what to do with it. I was just going to chuck it, kind of thing. And so when I was driving to the airport with Owen, because the strip bar was close to the airport, we always stayed around the airports and stuff. But I remember I talked Owen into smoking a doobie with me, which is pretty rare. Owen wasn't a big pot guy, and nor was I really, but it was kind of like, I remember telling him, it's like, we got 2 weeks, and everything's over, It's like, it might be the last time we could ever do this. And so I remember Owen smoking up with me. And so we smoked up, and then we went into the bar, the strip bar. And it was pretty early. It was just me and Jim and a handful of the wrestlers that were finished, Hawk and Animal, and I think Hulk Hogan was there, Beefcake and Davey Boy. And everyone's just hanging out and having a pretty good time, drinking beers. And I was kind of in a good mood with Owen. And all of a sudden, Vince McMahon comes in. And I don't know where Vince was, because when we left him at the building, he was sober. But Vince shows up in this big strip bar, and he shows up with Pat Patterson and Sergeant Slaughter as his security, I guess. And he's as drunk as I've ever seen him in my whole life. He's a mess. Vince is a total mess, and he's drunk and like silly and laughing, and his tie's all loose, and he's all. And I remember Hawk coming up to Hulk Hogan and going, we're gonna take Vince out. We're gonna do me and Animal are gonna do our finish on. And I remember Jim listening, like Jim's ear went up, like Hawk's gonna do what? And the Road Warriors finish is pretty dangerous finish. You pick somebody up, like got him here, and then clothesline him off from a standing position, clothesline him. It's a long fall to the ground. And so it's like, I remember Jim going, I want to see that. And I'm going, they say they're going to do it. I remember Hogan was really winding up Hawk, because Hawk was getting pretty crazy. And it's like, and I remember Hawk going, okay, we're going to do it. And I remember him walking over, and Jim and me followed in tow with our beers and Jack Daniels. And I'll follow, I want to watch Hawk. And Hawk came right up from behind and picked his Animal went up and right behind Vince while he was standing there drunk, he talking to somebody, just scooped him up, and I was standing there, and all of a sudden turned around, and Hawk's on one of those stripper tables with the pole. And he decides, he'd been talking about he's going to take Vince's head off, and I remember all watching him, do it. And I was like, it's not going to happen. And Hogan was like, it was all kind of like Hogan daring him to do it and all this. And I remember just when they got ready, Hawk came off the big clothesline, I think rip his head off and all that. He gave him off this lame little powder puff little clothesline that wouldn't have broken an egg. And Beefcake and Hogan caught Vince and they delicately set him on the ground. And everybody gave like a little golf clap. And I remember Jim was pulling beard. And like, I knew they didn't have the guts to do it. And then Jim looks at me and goes, Heart Foundation would have done it. And I got Jim had just bought me a shot of Jack Daniels, like 2 of them, and I had them both in my hand. And I go, yeah, Heart Foundation would have done it. And then I'm thinking, like, wait, what did I just say? I just set these 2 glasses down. I wanted to actually just run anywhere I could just to get away from Jim and Vince and everybody. And I turn around, and as I set the 2 little shots down, Jim's picked Vince up. And I remember Hulk Hogan looking at me like, are you going to do it, or do I got to find somebody else to do it? And I was like, and I just looked at Hulk Hogan and looked at Hawk, and I just took off and clothesline Vince full blast. Lying on the ground with Vince after, because I remember we landed on a cement floor with carpet on it. It was a pretty hard fall. It was just as hard for me, but we landed there on the ground, and I remember like I'm holding Vince and his head's right here. And we're lying there, and Vince looks over and he goes, "You owe me a drink." And I said, "What are you drinking?" And he goes, "Dewar's on Ice." And I'll never forget that. I mean, it's the only way I know that Vince drinks Dewar's on Ice. And I got him a drink, and next thing I know, I remember looking around, and Davey was power slamming him, and everybody did their finish on Vince after. It was like, he was like as playful as a little kitten. Everyone was like tussling Vince's hair, and it was all fun and games. Anyway, they finally the place had to close down, and I remember Owen kept saying, he goes, I can't believe how much things have changed around here. And it was like, it's not like this every day, Owen. But anyway, so I remember, this is such a good story. It's one of my favorite memories in wrestling. But I remember Pat Patterson, who had come with Vince, because Pat's a gay guy, and he was very uncomfortable in the strip bar. And after about 10 minutes, Pat left. He actually ran out of there. He told Vince, "You're on your own. I can't take it. I gotta get out of here." He left, and the only one there was Sergeant Slaughter. And then it was really hard getting all the wrestlers out of this strip club. And I just remember they brought the police came and were trying to get everyone out. It was like 5 or 6 police cars and maybe 6 or 8 policemen trying to get everyone out of the club. And I just remember Sergeant Slaughter in Vince's, he had like a Lincoln or a town car or something, like a pretty nice car. And the police car was parked in front of it. And I just remember Sergeant Slaughter pushing the police car off the road into the ditch. And I remember the policeman in the car laughing. Like, he couldn't believe it. Sergeant Slaughter was pushing his car off the ditch, and Sergeant Slaughter didn't. It was like something out of a weird, but somehow someone said, "Party in Ric Flair's room." So he had a big party in Ric Flair's room. He's got a suite down at the Marriott on the San Antonio Riverwalk. It's like a really nice hotel, and it's a nice area. Ric Flair's got a party in his room, and we're heading there. So the police decide they're going to give us an escort to the one in the front and one in the behind, and we follow in a big train of about 40 cars filled with strippers and wrestlers and everybody. We end up in the lobby of the hotel with this, and I remember we're all asking for the key to Ric Flair's room. We're calling Ric Flair's room, and the line's busy. No one will answer the phone. And I remember thinking, okay, so this party's over, and Vince McMahon walks up. Well, he was the last one to get to the counter, and I remember he goes, "I'm Vince McMahon. Give me the key to Ric Flair's room." And they're like, right away, he's like, "Yes, sir." And I remember going, how does that work? You can just ask for it, like, so much for privacy, or Anyway, Vince McMahon got the key to Flair's room right away, and we went up about. It was a really big, fancy hotel. I don't know how many floors up, but it was quite a ways up, like 60 floors or something. We went up. And we go to Ric Flair's room, and it's dead bolted, and got the chain on the thing, and we're pounding on the door, and Vince tries to open it, and it's Earl Hebner sleeping on a rollaway bed. Ric Flair's not even in the room. He's still out somewhere. And it's about 3 in the morning, and Earl opens up the door, and we end up with all these people in a room, with strippers and wrestlers and everybody, and all they got is a bottle of vodka. It's a bottle of vodka in the fridge, just vodka, nothing else. And so that's where it was, and there wasn't enough for everybody anyway. So it's like, I remember telling Owen, I said, "This party's dying fast." So I gave Owen my key to my room, and I said, "Run down to my hotel, and I got this big bag of weed. It's like half the size of a pillow." And, so Owen sprints down to my room and comes back with this weed. And I remember everybody rolling these doobies and stuff that are about like that long. Right? Big fat ones. I just remember telling them, "Just use it up." And next thing Vince and everyone's smoking up, and it turns into quite a party now. And I remember Vince, within a few minutes, Vince is stripped down to his boxers. He's got a pair of boxers on, white boxers. He's got his socks on, his black shoes, no shirt, and he's got his tie on. And Vince is trying to wrestle everybody. And there's a lot of things I remember that night. Like I remember he tried to shoot like a double leg takedown on Curt Hennig. And I remember Curt had him in a sort of a front headlock, and Curt was very gentle though, and Vince was like, once Curt had him, and now Vince is on his knees, and Kurt's got his head here, and he's standing. But I remember Curt just kind of gently banging Curt. He kept banging Vince's head on the door. waiting for him to let him go, but he won't let him go, but he just keeps banging his head on the board. And I remember that, but he did it in a kind of a gentle, kidding kind of way. And it's like, yeah, you get away with that. You know, he's just, actually it was more of, I remember I was laughing, even Vince was laughing, and Kurt was laughing. I remember somehow someone got into, I think it was Kurt Hennig, to be honest, but they started peeing on, whenever anyone had to go to the bathroom, they just go pee on the king-size bed and wore his flares from. And it was like, somehow it was to get back at Ric Flair. I don't know, I'm not sure what, it was like everybody would keep peeing on the bed. Sometimes you walk in there, like 4 or 5 guys peeing on the bed, peeing away. You know, everyone peed on the bed. I remember Vince McMahon peeing on the bed. And I don't know whatever happened, but I know that Vince paid for everything.